What's up, guys? So today we're going to go over isometric training. What is it? Why is it so popular? And how can we use it to get our athletes faster? Okay, so what are isometrics and then how can I use them to get faster? So isometrics can be broken down into two subdivisions. There's overcoming isometrics, which is where we're pushing on or pulling on something that doesn't move, so there's no real change in joint angle. And then there's yielding isometrics, which is where we're holding a weight in a certain position and we're trying not to change joint angle again. But you can kind of see there how there's two major distinctions and then obviously a bunch of different subcategories that can be broken down off of that. So one tends to be more of a concentric pushing type of exercise, and the other one tends to be more of an eccentric isometric resisting changing in length of the tissue-based exercise. When we talk about speed development, it's really important to actually get into these subcategories and classifications because traditional isometrics don't really have too much of an effect. So what I did was I took one exercise that works very well for acceleration or the kind of start position posture. I took another exercise that works more with top end velocity positioning and then where, areas where we experience high tissue stress and tension. And then I did the last one, which was kind of a lower leg, foot and ankle stiffness based exercise because it's obviously very helpful when it comes to fast ground contact time. So let's get into the exercises and start talking about them. Okay, so the first variation we're going to look at is an iso push. So as you can see, I'm in an acceleration position. Key here is going to be my left leg pushing on that small horizontal block. I'm going to do kind of it's a little bit longer of a press into the block than I would really do if I had to use it all the time. So I was working on a faster rate of force development. So instead of gradually ramping up pressure, as you'll hear, I was getting in position, getting a little bit of tension, and then slamming into it. I was trying to let it build for a couple seconds, but I would tell you that if you're going to do it in this way, you would push on it for about a half second and then get out of it, reset, and do it again maybe for 3 reps per side. Let's take a look at it. So he's pushing. Good. I'm going to switch feet, get my angle, a little tension, slam into it. So you can see it's isometric. There's still a little bit of change in joint angle, but for the most part, it's a great overcoming isometric. So what we're going to look at is the second variation. This is an isometric hold variation. So this is starting actually at a pretty low point. This is a rehab application, but it's the same one that you'll use when you go to more advanced, quicker switching exercises. So this is a hip bridge with a slightly open knee angle just to get more hamstring tension. It's really dependent on a good pelvic position. So you'll watch like he's really focused on that. We'll do a very slow removal of the other leg so that you can gradually increase the tension on the support leg. And we'll pull the knee up pretty far because it will help him with the pelvis. So you'll see him pull it up. It will maybe hold it for 3 to 4 seconds before replacing the leg and then gradually switching over to the other one. So we'll maybe do, 2 to 4 reps per side for a 3 to 5 second hold. Again, really important with position, so let's watch it. We're gonna push a little further. Good, this kid was really dialed in with this. Side note, he worked really hard and got back to being able to play for the last couple games of his season, and he did a great job. So that was that. You can see kind of a gradual uptick in tension, but really good for stimulating the hamstrings and everything along that chain in a longer limb length and just a higher tension scenario. Alrighty, now we're going to watch the same exercise done by yours truly, and we're going to do this is a quicker switch variation. So you can say it's reactive because the tension ratchets up really quick. And if you notice, I have, maybe 30 to 40 pounds of tension on my pelvis. So this is like, unless you do it, you won't really feel the tension level, but the system weight for that position is about 30 some odd percent of your body weight. So for me, if I'm 100 kilo body weight, it would be about 30 kilos. So I've got probably like, 40 pounds of tension across the pelvis. And I'll reset every time and make sure my pelvis is set. The moment I'm set, I'll pull the non-support leg really quick and have to react to it and, turn up the tension on the support leg really fast. So we say, look, it's reactive. It's more of an eccentric rate of force development exercise. So that's that. We'll watch it one more time. So replace it. Again, constantly checking in on the pelvis. It's so hard to watch yourself do these things. Because you're like, it's so spastic. But get it set, pull it. Get it set, pull it. So you get the point. But same exercise, a lot higher tension, a lot faster rate of force development. So just increasing the difficulty and the specificity to the goal, which is speed. Okay, so the last exercise we're going to look at here is a switching exercise with the seated calf raise. So this is going to be the lower leg, the foot and ankle complex. So if you kind of watch what's going on, this is a really rapid switching back and forth between the individual legs. So one leg is going to drop out, the other one's going to take all of the weight that's on the end of the seated calf raise in an instant and try to hold it without, yielding at all. And then we're going to switch right back out of it. So it's another, maybe 1 to 2 second in, and then switch it out for 10 to 12 reps total. So 5 to 6 reps per side alternating. But it's super dynamic. It's a really good eccentric to isometric exercise for the lower leg. I also feel from doing it that there's a lot of the same type of pre-activation and anticipatory activation of the lower leg when you do this one. So I've always gotten a good result, even with older athletes, and this guy is about, believe it or not, he's 65, and he can really do some wild stuff still on the basketball court at a pretty big body size. And these types of things in terms of supplementary training for activities that these guys and girls want to do is really, really helpful. So we'll watch Martin go back and forth. He's just getting in, getting out. But if you watch like his thighs, and then you watch his foot and ankle, you can see what he's doing. The important one on that is just make sure his foot is supported enough so that it's well underneath the base of that big toe. Just kind of where the start of the arch is, and then it's pretty good to go from there. That's not a starting point, but a favorite one for speed development. Okay guys, so you can see that my list is a little bit different than most. My list tends to be more rate of force development dependent. So I think that's where we have a lot of success with isometric training, and its speed application is because it has the ability to do quicker on and off, in and out type of exercises. So if you notice, my first one is concentric rate of force development. So in my start position or my acceleration posture, I'm going to get a little tension and then I'm going to drive into it. So I get a little bit of movement, but ultimately I'm pushing against something that is immovable. So a really good overcoming isometric in a great, relatable angle to good acceleration posture. It makes sense to a lot of athletes, which I think is super important. I think that you'll also notice that if you can get a good setup like that. Great exercise. The second exercise is also going to be rate of force development. It's going to be kind of an eccentric rate of force development exercise. When you do the slower kind of in and out, it's really good for feeling and being able to develop tension in areas where maybe you're not as good or you need to get better at it. But when we want the performance carryover, that quicker switching and removing of the base of support, is what gets kind of that quicker firing pattern that ultimately, we'll have a chance to see a benefit from. And on the last one, the ankles, it's the same thing. I really love that exercise. I think it's really good at isolating the lower leg, obviously, but being able to work on some of that anticipatory pre-tensioning of the lower leg while you fire into that footboard. But all those are really great. Give them a shot. Let me know what you think when you do them. Ask questions in the comment section below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch this little video right there, and until next time, let's get it.